What's going on, everybody? C4 here, and today a quicker episode of the Philadelphia Eagles 5th Down, which is basically my time and space to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles. I believe this is episode 22, so we're starting to build up and amass a very nice collection here of games as I'm watching soccer at the moment, actually the MLS playoffs, New York Red Bulls versus Chicago Fire, 2-0 right now. But I was getting ready, actually, right now. I'm sick, so I'm trying to record as many videos as possible. Plus, with Call of Duty coming out next Friday, I really want to catch up on my uploads so that I can have at least a couple days where I can do nothing but play Call of Duty. Hopefully, the game is really good. I don't know if you guys want to see me maybe once a week play Call of Duty on the main channel. I know right now a big thing for YouTube channels is playing Call of Duty. It really messes with your monetization, so I don't know if I'm going to mess with that. I might, start using the secondary channel. I don't know. But that is neither here nor there. We're talking about Philadelphia Eagles here on 5th Down, episode 22. And what we're going to be talking about, and the reason why I want to make this video is because I was getting ready to do the hype video for the San Francisco 49ers game. And there's two big things that have to be addressed, and I feel like I need to address. One is more personal than the other, and that is the losses for the year of Jason Peters and Jordan Hicks. And now I've looked, as you hear, I'm sick, man. It sucks getting sick. I mean, I haven't been able to see my kid either because I don't want him to get sick. So this has not been a fun week. But at least these videos are kind of, giving me something to do. I was looking at bleedinggreennation.com, which, I mean, let's be honest, about 25% of the stuff that goes up on that site is worth reading. But they made an article talking about the top 5 offensive tackles the Philadelphia Eagles could trade for in absence of Jason Peters. They talked about Cordy Glenn, Centrell Henderson, Jordan Mills, Dwayne Brown, and Joe Staley. Plus, I've been getting hit like crazy on Twitter about the Philadelphia Eagles and should they trade or who are they going to trade? They have to trade, right? And my take on the matter is no. First and foremost, we need to talk about Jason Peters. I love how the entire Lincoln Financial Field Stadium was chanting his name as he's walking off. He's an absolute legend, a Hall of Fame. Right on a first ballot Hall of Famer, unless we can get him a Super Bowl ring. I don't know if he's going to come back next year, even though he's hinted that he may move inside to guard. And he definitely would be a better guard than like Wisniewski or Chance Warmack, who I guess are our two guys of the future there, if you will. But, shout out to Jason Peters, absolute legend, the bodyguard, one of my favorite Philadelphia Eagles of all time. I mean, there's been a couple Eagles that I've been close to buying jerseys for. John Runyon, when I was first starting to become a Philadelphia Eagles fan. I liked Evan Mathis while I was here. But I think there is a point in time that next time I maybe make a cheap China jersey order, I might cop a bodyguard Jason Peters jersey, along with, obviously, for the memes, I've got to grab a Lane Johnson. But Jason Peters is the kind of guy that's never going to have to pick up a tab in Philadelphia again. He embodies everything that is Philadelphia. But as far as really giving up more assets, future assets, to trade for one of these tackles, be it, I mean, Cordy Glenn wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. He's very, very expensive, and we're not going to look for an expensive option, especially when probably next year we're going to be trying to cut cap, not add more. Centrell Henderson, I actually was a big fan of him coming out of Miami. I know he said some off-field things. I believe he's, he got caught with using marijuana, but he has a medical license because he has Crohn's disease. Yeah, he's big. He's a big guy, but I mean, I don't know how much better he'd be than Vitae. Jordan Mills, another guy, probably not better than Vitae. He's more of a guard that could swing the tackle. Dwayne Brown, too expensive. I don't know why the Texans wouldn't just pay him a little bit of money with how they have that offense rolling right now under Deshaun Watson. That doesn't make sense. The only one that does make sense would be Joe Staley for a one-year Band-Aid, because I think the 49ers are in absolute fire sale mode. And I think Joe Staley probably could be acquired for the cheapest amount. And even that being said, Joe Staley is a better left tackle than right tackle, so that kind of fills into the need. However, Philadelphia is not in the business of giving up assets. Without a second or third round pick, I highly, highly doubt we're going to have to give up. To get Joe Staley, probably be a 5th rounder, and that is like where we're going to have to hit on our draft picks. That is where we're going to be able to make the move. And unless Howie Roseman foresees us being able to trade down out of the first round, which, to be honest, might not be that bad of an option, I just don't see this front office wanting to give up draft picks, especially because we like to hoard draft picks. We're the exact opposite. So, as far as that is concerned, I guess what I would do is I'd have Vitae's not bad. Vitae's not a turnstile. I think I was saying in the Eagles postgame, he's not like Andrew Gardner. He's not like Matt Tobin. Vitae can't hold up. There is definitely some bad. He needs to get much more consistent, but the upside is there. The potential is for him to be a solid, serviceable starter. He's not going to be a Pro Bowler. He's never going to develop into a Pro Bowler, I don't think. I never want to rule that out with any of our Philadelphia Eagle players. But, if not everyone on every offensive line has to be outstanding. I mean, we've just been really, really lucky with, Brandon Brooks, Lane Johnson, and Jason Peters consistently being Pro Bowlers. You have Jason Kelce, who's now being loved by fans again. I never dropped off at Kelce. I always thought Kelce was the guy we wanted. I know so many people want the Philadelphia Eagles to trade Jason Kelce, but now that he's getting graded out well from Pro Football Focus, and I personally think he's solid for a pull. Obviously, he's undersized, but I've always been a believer in Jason Kelce. It's one of those things, we've just been benefited by having almost everyone on the offensive line being very, very good. We haven't had to deal with having, outside of injuries, if people go down, a lot of average play on the offensive line. There's nothing wrong with that. Look at the Patriots. Not everyone on the Patriots offensive line is a Pro Bowler. Not everyone on the Steelers offensive line is a Pro Bowler. Not everyone on the Cowboys offensive line, Doug Free, was a Pro Bowler a year ago. Same with the Titans. Every offensive line has its strengths and weaknesses, and there's nothing wrong with Vaitai. Now, Vaitai will be starting these next 2 games. We have against the 49ers, who have a decent, somewhat underrated defensive line. And then the week after that, I'm assuming the Denver Broncos are going to move Von Miller to his side. I think if we can get a good gauge against the Niners, if the Niners are able to spank, we'll say spank to keep it PC here, to spank Hal Vaitai on the tackle spot, then maybe we look at making a move. But as of right now, the way Vaitai has held up in minutes that he's had, I mean, outside of maybe a bad play or two against the Carolina Panthers on Thursday night against Julius Peppers, who has way more experience and would definitely know how to take advantage of an inexperienced tackle. I think we throw him out there and see what he can do. We give him the benefit of the doubt that he can hold up and he can, give us at least enough time for Carson Wentz to make plays outside of the pocket. It also helps, when you look at Russell Wilson. The reason why Russell Wilson's able to mitigate how weak that offensive line is because he can move with his plays, extend the pass, extend his play outside of the pocket. So if Vaitai even isn't that good enough, we don't always need him to straight up just stonewall and pancake block his opponent because Carson Wentz can make plays with his feet. But again, I think we will get a good gauge against the 49ers if Joe Staley, or I think he's really the only one I think would be any option in terms of the price is right. If he has to become an option, if Vaitai looks really bad against the 49ers, where he's prepared to be a starter all week long, then we might need to look elsewhere. Plus, there's still the uncertainties. Lane Johnson can move from left tackle. I don't think he's going to move to left tackle. Personally, everyone knows my take. I think Lane Johnson's a much better right tackle than a left tackle, even though we unfortunately are paying him like a left tackle. So the second injury is Jordan Hicks, who is, he's now becoming a little bit unreliable. You can't really count on him. You can't count on him to play for a full season, and it kind of stings that we might not be so bad because we have Nigel Bradham, who's really good. Hopefully Nigel Bradham actually gets a contract extension before the offseason. But then the depth is Michael Kendricks, who is playing well, but of course he got hurt. Michael Kendricks has been injury prone for the entirety of his career. And right now, our linebacking core, our defense, the center, the core of that is kind of relying right now on Michael Kendricks' ability to stay healthy with Jordan Hicks out for the remainder of the season. I don't know if they're going to plan to bring in a free agent. I know they tried out some guys. My boy Jelani Jacobs, a former Florida Gator, I personally would like to bring him in when he is healthy. He's another one of those guys that has trouble staying on the field. But when he has been healthy for the Miami Dolphins, he was solvable. He was really serviceable. He's good and he's athletic enough to not be a liability in coverage, as well as coming down and making plays in the box. But linebacker sucks. I guess it sucks that Nate Jerry, Najee Good, Joe Walker, those guys there should not be stars. It sounds like from Jim Swartz's press conference they're going to be kind of doing a linebacker by committee role. But the other one, just kind of talking about should Philly trade for a linebacker. I mean, it would have been nice if this was a week before Hicks went down and Bowen was there, even though I don't know if Bowen ever really wanted to leave California and the West Coast. But you always want wishful thinking because what they paid him, $3 million? It's a contract that can go up to $3 million. That's an absolute steal, as we saw what Bowman did against the Kansas City Chiefs in primetime Thursday. But I think for a linebacker, we gamble with Michael Kendricks and hope that he can stay healthy. And then because you got to remember, last year with Michael Kendricks not being so hot, we ran the nickel. We had 2 linebackers on the field most of the time, and our defense last year was pretty good. We ran with Nigel Bradham and Jordan Hicks. So I assume it's going to be more the same with Jordan Hicks being replaced by Michael Kendricks. And can he do that? Yeah and no. With how he's played, I definitely don't think the drop-off is as big as it would have been judging and grading Michael Kendricks from last year. But still, it certainly is a big loss losing Jordan Hicks, as he is the quarterback of our defense. But, just stop hitting me up on Twitter about, linebackers we should trade for and stuff like that. It's not going to happen. I think we're comfortable with what we have right now. And if you're looking at, available free agents, linebacking is one of the better positions in terms of available players still hanging off there in the scrap heap. There's Perry Riley, Jelani Jenkins. You got Donald Butler. I believe Jenkins and Butler are two players Philadelphia both had come in for tryouts. So that on top of just some veterans that are still there like Darrell Williams, Donnell Ellerby, guys that can perform and kind of act as a Band-Aid. You know, it could have been a worse position. Let's just leave it at that. Plus, you have to figure we're getting Darby back. You know, our defense, while we lost a piece here, a very valuable piece in Jordan Hicks, we're still going to get stronger at other positions. You got to endure. Every team has to deal with injuries, you know? And that's the bottom line, because C4 said so. I'm going to leave this with, I have a couple spots open in the next couple of weeks for Philadelphia Eagle topics. If you guys have any suggestions of stuff you want me to talk about in relation to the Philadelphia Eagles, let me know now so I can start preparing and plan on recording that. As always, if it's your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button, smash the like button if you enjoyed. Until next time, it's C4 saying peace out and fly Eagles fly.